Need to move it down. There we go. There you are. Okay. Excellent. Okay, well.
Testing, testing.
Yeah,
One,
it
two,
seems like they can hear. Okay, guys, in chat, how is the volume? How is Matt's volume? I'll let Matt speak for a bit.
What's up? May the benevolence be with you, friends. I'm trying to log in to the Twitch right now. Where is it? Come on. Can you guys hear me okay? Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. The best weapon is a prepared mind.
Volume is perfect. Great. Okay. So, oh, all my stuff is on. No. Okay, bear with me. All my questions have decided to show up at the same time. How did this happen? This is unfortunate. Okay, how do I get all these to hide? They're not supposed to be here, guys. Pretend that you cannot see any questions.
I can't see anything, so that's good.
That's good. Alright, so here we are then, guys. Matt Fowler, voice
Cheers
voice of Zhuge
to the
Liang.
evil shrimp. This is my TMNT coffee cup that I always drink out of when I'm watching you stream.
That is nice. Well, this is just my standard black tea that I always drink from when I stream.
Nice.
Okay, so how are you doing today?
Good. If you guys can see in the background, I'm producing a film, and on the table over there is a Chinese lion head that I built from scratch for this film that I'm producing.
Nice.
So I was finishing up the paper mache on that, and yeah, just living the dream, you know.
Living the dream, indeed. Does sound like it. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to get straight into things then. So, obviously you're the voice actor of Zhuge Liang, so that's the kind of most basic fact that we have here. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of a background do you actually have with Dynasty Warriors? Is it something that you'd played a lot before, or is it something that was kind of fresh for you?
So when I was in high school, 2003, 2004, that was when I first started playing Dynasty Warriors. One of my buddies had it, and he was obsessed with it. Yeah, and so I would just go over to his place, and we would just smoke weed and play Dynasty Warriors nonstop for, I don't know, a month, 2 months. And that was my first introduction to the Dynasty Warriors, and then kept up with a little throughout the years. When I was in acting school, a couple of my roommates were really big gamers, and I've always kind of been more into like the RPGs, like Mass Effect, that sort of thing, Skyrim. But my roommates at the time were playing the newer ones as well, around like 2007.
Right.
Yeah, and then I'd worked with a bunch of the people that are associated with this game for quite a while, doing other voice projects. So then they when the producers got this one, they called me.
Right. Okay. So, yeah, it sounds like kind of the old ones. Then I imagine it would have been something like Dynasty Warriors 3, 4 that you were playing.
3.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Which was, I mean, it was a good one.
Did you have like a favorite character at the time? Do you remember?
Definitely Zhao Yun was one of my favorites.
Right.
But I think it was because more than being a fan of Zhao Yun necessarily, it was because I was a fan of Keelik from what is that game? Soul Calibur. And he's like basically the same character. They both are badass looking, and they both have an awesome staff. And yeah,
Japanese pole wielders, am I right?
yeah, right. There's some. All right. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah,
pole.
you kind of touched on it a little bit there. So I wanted to go over that a little bit more. Then, are you generally a gamer? So what kind of titles are you really into? What's your kind of favorite experience?
Yeah, so I think definitely my favorite game to date. I don't know. It's a close tie between Mass Effect and Skyrim at this point.
Hmm.
Um, when I was younger, uh, I didn't really get in. I don't think RPGs were really that good until you know. I mean, as far as graphics and stuff, until you know, fairly recently, like on the Xbox. Uh, so I read a lot of books, fantasy and stuff like that when I was growing up in the woods, and so I think that's why Skyrim uh, really appeals to me. It's just that fantasy aspect. But then Mass Effect, I'm also a huge sci-fi guy, and so um, yeah, Mass Effect is one of my favorite games, hands down. I just love the open universe aspect of it, and I really want to get into that new game. Have you seen that one? It's like I think it's still in beta, but it's like where you can buy your own ship and like you can go mine, and it's just this massive, massive game where it's all first person. Have you heard of
Oh, do
this
you
one?
mean No Man's Sky?
I think so.
Yeah, that game was supposed to be amazing because it was supposed to be this amazing, like, no scope, computer generated wonder universe, but it turned out to be complete trash. Um,
Really? And so
because
it's like not. It's just done.
it was just a tiny indie company, and I think they bit off more than they could chew, and it's more like a lot of the things they promised they didn't actually do or they didn't fully develop. So you just end up with this horrible grinding system where you keep mining the same stuff over and over, and you get this annoying voice in your ear telling you it's depleted and the story's non-existent. And yeah, I mean, it was really fun, and like that you could look at something and then go, I'm gonna go there. But then
Yeah.
yeah, it got old real quick because everything kind of ended up being the same, sadly.
That's the one where you're like inside of your spaceship, right? And you can like look around and it's like beautifully designed and
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the graphically it's really cool, but yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
it's
Unfortunately,
fucked. Okay.
yeah, unfortunately. So which was your favorite Mass Effect then of the three? Well, four, but we don't talk about that one.
I haven't. I don't think I've played four. Uh, I mean the original just because of, it's like why people like, whatever game they played first in any series. I
Mm,
think it's just that, it was the first time you were exposed to that world and um,
a
like
feeling
I
of
actually
wonder.
like uh, the Elder Scrolls stuff quite a bit. That's what I was thinking of, Katnick. Star Citizen. That's the one I'm
Oh,
thinking
that
of.
one. Ah,
Yes. Have you seen any of the videos on that?
I've seen a little bit actually.
Oh my god, it looks so freaking cool.
Hmm, nice.
It looks amazing.
I'll look
But
into that one.
yeah, the first one, and then I got to beta test Mass Effect 2, which was cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Um, so, and then, because of my love for Mass Effect, I actually wrote Space Ward, which is the sci-fi audio drama.
Right, we're going to talk a bit more about that later.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
And right now I'm in Destiny. The first Destiny, I'm way behind.
mm,
Um, but I like the voice acting in Destiny. Um,
which is ironic. They actually replaced because they had the guy that plays Tyrion Lannister and Peter Dinklage. They had him as the voice of Ghost, but he really phoned in the performance, so they actually replaced him with Nolan North halfway through.
really?
Yeah, so it was quite funny. But the other voice actors are
I,
good.
I mean, Ghost is like the little box. You mean,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, I didn't think he was that bad. I don't know. I mean, he's a box. I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Well,
I'm not a very good critic.
I don't know if he's still there. I think they might have actually completely taken him out of the game. So the one you're hearing now is Nolan North, probably. I think,
Ooh,
as far as I remember. But yeah, Nolan North does a decent job.
nice.
Yeah, it's an interesting game to play. We'll leave it at that. It's a lot better now than it was when it first came out.
Really?
Yeah, when it
Nice.
first came out, it was a bit of a mess. But anyway, we're not here to talk about the mess of that. So yeah, that was just a little bit of introductory information then, I guess. So sort of the main question that we're kind of all here for then. So when you were contacted about the project of Dynasty Warriors 9, What were your kind of initial impressions? What
Well,
feeling did you have?
the video game stuff is always so cloak and dagger, because you know the fans are ravenous, um, and I mean myself included. When I so all I knew was that it was a video game. I mean, I had no idea if it was even going to be on major platforms or um, you know, right, Cat. Uh, yeah. So and then we had a big meeting where they talked about the project and told us what the project was. And I think I was probably one of. I mean, I don't think there were probably a lot of other actors who were, who had played the game like I did.
Hmm.
So that was. I mean, I'm still nerding out. I'm here. I've been trolling you for like a month. Like,
I wouldn't say
it's.
trolling is the word at this point, but
I mean, right. I mean, is trolling only derogatory? Okay, all right.
yeah,
I've been whoring myself
that
all over the
we'll
place
go
because
with that
I'm
one.
so excited. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So it was kind of like,
No, sorry guys. Sorry. They're asking about. So I have
sure.
two names for some reason in Twitch. I've been trying to use Matt M Fowler from now on. Yeah, I've been trying to use that one, guys, because I don't know. I created two for some stupid reason, and I was a second ago I was logged in as Matt Fowler VO, but I think it's Matt M Fowler is also my Twitter and my Instagram handle, so I figure I'll just stick with that one, y'all.
Nice. Okay, so
Anyway,
plugs out the way with for now. Also, you can actually see it on the stream. It's right underneath his picture at Matt M Fowler, right there. That's his
ooh,
Twitter.
that looks nice. Oh, this is a nice setup you got here.
Thank you. I spent a while on it.
Yeah, I like how it's the back of my character's head.
Yeah, that was
Nice.
kind of the plan with that one. Okay, anyway. So, yeah, kind of next one then. It's kind of a silly question, but I just feel like I should ask it anyway. Wait, hold on. That is the wrong question, but never mind. Yeah, so when you were kind of contacted about this, did you have a... Were you given options about who you could play, or were you already assigned someone
No.
before you came to the meeting?
No, I was already assigned. Juglian has the most lines in the game,
Hmm.
um, and these producers that I've been working with, I've done numerous projects with them over the last couple of years, and so they wanted me um, for Juglian just because they knew that I could handle the workload, and that I was right for the part too. But no, I didn't have a choice.
Right, so you were kind of on the inside track then.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, definitely. You know, there were a lot of actors that I'm not sure if they had worked with these producers before, but
Hmm.
a lot of the main voices we all knew each other, and I've actually got three other Dynasty Warriors actors that I know personally that I actually cast in my audio drama. But anyway, shameless.
Don't worry, we're going to get to that. We're going to give you the opportunity to,
No.
to go all out on that.
Yeah,
Yes,
wordy. Yeah, Juglian's wordy. Yeah.
definitely wordy. So, what info, apart from that, did you actually have to work on with Zhuge? What kind of information did you
Um,
have about him?
I knew who he was from having played the previous games.
Hmm.
But then, you know, I also did a lot of independent research, into, his story and, um, actual, what we had from history and that sort of thing. Yeah. So, I mean, they have they gave, whatever, character descriptions Koi, you know, gave. And then, anything above and beyond that, which is super standard for anything, TV, film, video games. It's like, you get the script and the basics of the character, and it's your job as an actor to fill out that character's life and bring it to life.
Right.
Um,
Of course. So I'm kind of curious, what kind of details did they include with that? Like, what kind of characteristics did they provide for him as a character?
I mean, it's pretty, a master statistician. I mean, basically, I'm, you could probably Google, Zhuge and find a description of him, and that's basically, what I what I probably received.
He had some bare
You know.
bones stuff. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I know it's kind of a touchy thing to do and kind of to bring up, but I feel it's important as well. Was it intimidating taking on, a role that was played so iconically by Lex Lang?
I didn't I didn't look up any of the other actors.
Okay.
Um,
Did you know
and
that it was
so
such an iconic role before you took it up?
I knew Zhuge was an iconic character.
Hmm.
I didn't know that Lex Lang had voiced him until somebody found me on YouTube, found my voiceover demo reel on YouTube once the credits went up on IMDb, and said, you know, I can't believe this schmuck Matt Fowler is, taking over for Lex
Yeah.
Lang, the prolific Lex Lang, after 15 years. And um, I was just blown away. I was like, because, once I looked up Lex and, you know, realized who he was, I was like, just honored, to be playing the role.
Hmm.
And I, obviously told the person on YouTube, like, I hope that I can do it justice. And I love Lex Lang's performance as well. And yeah, um, I'd really like to do a side by side of some of his stuff and some of my stuff.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody should do that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did. I walked into a bar fight, cat. Yeah, no, but you know what? Everybody's been amazing. There were some people that were talking about it before the game came out, postulating, but you know, I feel like, yeah, no, everybody's been really super supportive, so it's been great. I walked into a bar fight, but then I bought everybody a round of drinks, so it's fine.
Nice analogy, especially as a Brit. I can appreciate that one. All right. So, how did you sort of decide on the direction that you took Zhuge Liang in? What would
What am
the
I saying? You know too much? Is that what you're trying to say, DHV?
I don't know, it's the DHV. He's just a troll.
There'd be a bar fight in here, all right. You know.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
sorry.
Matt, Fowler.
Keep going.
How did you decide on the direction you took Zhuge Liang in? How did you decide that this was how you wanted to portray this character?
Um, you know, uh, there's so many different parts of this story that he interacts with that it was really a arc by arc discovery for me. Um, like for instance, when he has the scene with Meng Huo, like I love that scene where he basically fights him just to prove that he's worthy of being an ally,
Hmm.
and just trying to uh, somebody that brilliant, it's hard to really encapsulate that. But I think just trying to live in each moment in the different scenes, um, and and having the stakes, that I feel like is oftentimes a big factor in any performance is, if you have the stakes, at hand. And so it's just, going into, whatever scene we were working on, knowing the backstory of, and doing the research on my own of, you know, what the stakes are if this doesn't work, because then you're fighting for something, as opposed to just, having the lines or having a conversation. There's something underneath, you know?
Right. Okay. So you mentioned before that you wanted to make it sort of an, what was the description? It was a more younger take on Zhuge Liang, and also your take on him is notably more passionate. What was
Yeah.
your line of thought when you approached it that way?
Well, I got to look at I got to see the character mock-ups before, before they were released. Um, and looking at him, he didn't look, he doesn't look old at all. To me, he looks like maybe, 35, 40. Um, I think he gets a little gray, like towards when he dies.
Yeah.
Um, so, you know, and I so it was just trying to match that, but also, as far as the passion, this is a guy that was in hiding, or not hiding, but I guess, was a recluse,
Yeah.
and for him to be brought out, um, and to go into this story, um, you know, he wouldn't have done it if he wasn't passionate about it. Um, but also for him to be able to, I feel like a leader has to have passion, and he's, one of the greatest leaders in Shu. I mean, I don't know, they all get fucked, but um, but he had good intentions. Um, but I think it was more of wanting to, I don't know, just make, the guy's, he's a brilliant tactician, but he's also someone who can get people to follow him, and passion, I feel like is paramount, um, when you're trying to, be a leader. Um, I did some research on Sun Tzu, as well, and who's had very similar, ideas about warfare and, leading and that sort of thing. And he talks about how, if the people, see, there it is.
Just
uh,
immediately.
if the people, believe in their leaders and their cause, they'll basically do anything for that cause. Lay down their lives, you know, face unsurmountable odds, um, if they believe in, what they're fighting for. And that was one of the big points in the art of war,
Mhm.
was, oh, come on, guys, I'm not that old. Jesus Christ, you suck. Uh, uh, damn it, I lost my train of thought. So
That's all chat's here for, is just to ruin your chain of thought.
yeah, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you keep it going as well as you do. Um, but yeah, I think the passion came from, um, knowing that in order for him to bring these different, factions together, he had to believe in what he was saying.
Mhm. Okay. So, just
Long story short, short story long.
short story long. Yeah, maybe that's the more correct version. So, just one point I want to touch on. I know we can't talk too much about production, but there's been a little bit of talk on the Dynasty Warriors Reddit, from a couple of other voice actors that mentioned it, that when they were recording their lines, they weren't quite sure what the lines were actually going to be used for, and they found that in the game it was used for something other than they actually expected. So, for instance, maybe they thought it was going to be used during a battle, but it's actually used when they defeat an officer, just something like that. Did you know what your lines were going to be applied to when you were recording them, or was it just kind of you recorded them and then they applied it afterwards?
Yeah, no, we had I don't know who the actor was that
Hmm.
that said that, but from every and I was in the studio more than any of the other actors.
Hmm.
Every session that I had, we knew exactly what was going on. Um, so yeah, I don't know where he's getting that from, but that's a shame. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's just good to clarify that stuff because I think it's important to ask these questions because I figured that was going to be what your answer was because there's especially when it's Reddit and especially when it's such a, as we said earlier, a ravenous fan base. As soon as there is something to jump on, people are going to do it, and it becomes kind of like a circle jerk. So
Yeah,
it's
of course.
good to make sure that we clarify that one. So you hear that, guys?
Yeah,
Everything was
whacker
clear.
cracker.
It was clarity.
Um, Siege. I spent more time in the studio because Zhuge has more lines than any of the other characters in the game. And not you don't necessarily notice it if you're just playing his storyline, but he interacts with so many other characters that he has more content.
Son, we'll get to your question in a minute. We're going to have a public questioning bit before we get onto Matt's actual history. I'm just going to carry on with these questions for now, though, so bear with us. We will have a public questioning session. Okay, so what was your favorite line to record? Do you have one?
I think all of the there was a scene that I did with my wife that
Hmm.
was really cool. I haven't seen it yet. I have no idea how it came out.
Right.
Um, but there was a scene where I'm just basically talking about how I couldn't go on without her, and I can't remember the exact wording of it, but it was I don't know. It was an emotional benevolence. It was emotional scene at the time that we were recording it, and I felt really good about it. And then all of the fighting stuff is just. I'm a huge DBZ fan, and like to be able to do those power moves and I cut together a little sizzle of some of it recently just so I could have it to submit to other voice companies and stuff. Um, you know, that stuff is really fun.
Yeah, a couple of people have said that the battle sounds were quite a lot of fun to do, so good to hear that echoed. Okay, so just a bit of a fun question then. If you could have been anyone else in the franchise, who would it have been and why? Now, I know you were already cast as another character, so for those of you who don't know, he was also intended to play Zhao Yun, but because Zhuge Liang had so many voice lines, they decided not to do that. So instead of Zhao Yun, first of all, who else in the franchise?
Who's the really like there's a couple characters that are super creepy.
Hmm.
Would have been fun to play one of those guys. Um,
Creepy in what way? Or do you know which force they were
uh,
in?
they're blue.
Way, okay.
Um,
So creepy way people. Which creepy way people do we know, guys? Now Jonghae's not really creepy. He's the camp guy. I don't know. How would we go creepy?
um, it would have also been cool to um, uh, sorry,
That's fine.
I'm looking something up.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, possibly Jashu. Could have been that guy.
It would have just been fun to play a bad guy,
A
or
bad guy.
somebody that had a little bit more, you
Right.
know.
Bit of edginess, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. And actually,
But
I'm
it also would have been fun to play the one-eyed warrior as well.
Shahudun.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I guess that would have been quite fun because he's kind
he's
of
a great character.
portrayed as heroic and badass. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of a long way from the character you actually ended up with.
yeah. No,
I'm not too surprised
that's
actually. Having looked at your IMDb, I have some comments. but we'll get to those later because it's actually kind of to do with Space Ward. So okay, so that's that one done. So do you have any anecdotes from the recording process? Anything kind of fun or interesting that you remember from the process itself? Maybe interaction with other actors, or just something that happened in your own line?
I have some BTS of me recording the stuff in the studio. I can show you guys that. Hold on, give me 1 second. I think you'll be able to see it and hear it maybe. Hold on. And I've actually just gotten a release from the producers to start doing like 1 minute clips of this
Right,
setup.
You were talking about
let
that.
me see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or hear it, but let me know if this is awful. Hold on.
I see the men have grown tired. Very well. We shall fall back and rest for now.
Can you see it? Hold on.
Yeah, we can see it. Just need to get it a bit centralized. We can hear it as well, which is quite nice. Yeah. And now it's just not playing at all.
Everything went just as planned.
That was a really useful line there.
There's a lot of it. There's a lot of it. Hold on. But there's some points where you can see me, like, I don't know, part of this is like physicality. You know, your physicality when you're...
Amazing. You have gained my respect.
Ah yes, we hear that line a lot. If you kill someone in Zhuge Liang's on the battlefield, he's going to say it.
What number is it?
Line!
It's UAE. Yeah, I got it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff from the recording process.
Yeah, so if you want to see more of that, hit him up on Instagram, because I believe he's uploading it a minute at a time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
be
sure to keep your eyes out for that one. Okay, so as we mentioned earlier, you had the chance to be Zhao Yun, so I'm a bit interested to hear you do a Zhao Yun line. So I'm gonna write you a line that I'd like you to say.
I'm not a dancing monkey, Stefan.
Well, in this case you are. For now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
The people. It's just for the people, all right? So yeah, there's a line. Quite good for Zhao Yun. So if you can give that one a crack.
That's what you want me to say?
Yeah, if you can give that one a crack.
I don't even know. All right. He's got that higher register, but he's still the hero.
Purity.
It's for the people. I don't know. I haven't done it in a while. You can't just ask me to do that on the spot.
Okay, well next time.
Such an icon. Come on.
Next time we'll have you prepare something. Next time. We'll have you do the entire talk show in Zhao Yun next time to make up for it.
Yes, that sounds excellent. Everything I do will be in Zhao Yun voice.
Sounds good to me. Okay, so what I'd like to do next then is talk a bit about your sort of history. So more general stuff than specifically Dynasty Warriors. But before that, I want to see if anyone has any specific questions for Dynasty Warriors in the chat. So if anyone has any questions to do with this game specifically, try not to ask too much about the actual recording process, because there is, of course, disclosure agreements for that, so we can't really talk too much about it. But if you've got any questions, now is the time to ask them. We'll give you a couple of minutes to think about it. While you're thinking about those questions, or while you're writing those questions, we'll select a few in a moment. I was going to ask you, Oh, we've already got a question, so we can start there actually. So
Um,
how long did you
yeah.
have to stand up in that booth? Did you get tired?
Um, the sessions are generally anywhere from 3 to 5 hours at a time. Um, Kevin Connolly, Conroy, Conroy, voice of Batman, Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
He talks about long hours in a booth. 5 hours is kind of like brutal.
Mm.
So usually they would try to keep it like five, three, and then sometimes we would push to five. But not everybody stands either. You don't have to stand. It's not like they require you to stand. I like to stand because I feel like it helps me with my energy, and if I'm moving, I'm really in my body when I'm voice acting. So yeah, but it's mentally draining. Um, to do the voice acting as well. Have I played Dynasty Warrior 9? I haven't played it. I have it for PS4, but I don't have a PS4 anymore. I just bought it. Um,
Classic.
as far as the other voice actors, I mean, from what I've heard, I really like a lot of the performances. Um, you know, I know that people are going to everybody's entitled to their opinion, and fans are um you know people get attached to these characters throughout the years, especially with a long running franchise like Dynasty Warriors. um but I thought I really liked a lot of the voice acting. I liked a lot of the big guys, actually, a lot, like the giant bearded guys. I really like the um, Leo Bay and the two brothers. I don't know. I like the way they all sound together. Um, Guan Yu and the other guy.
The other guy says it all,
Um,
doesn't it?
yeah. Uh, anything about that? Yeah, and as far as people saying that some are really bad, I mean, I played the other Dynasty Warriors games, and you know it is what it is. Obviously you want every every character to be amazing, and you want everyone to be able to be you know in love with all of the work, but there's limitations on any production. It's part of the artistic process that you work within the parameters that you're given. Trying to see something else here. As far as the people that brought me in, I've worked with these producers for a couple of years. They're super professional. I love working with them. Yeah, no complaints there.
Another question there was
Uh,
how many sessions slash days did it take you to record all your lines, roughly?
uh, yeah, I'm not sure. It was over a couple month period. Um, but I'm not even sure. I have no idea how many times I was in there.
DHV, we're not going to talk about that. Is there any voice actor or actress that you look up to?
Um, yeah, I mean, uh, like I said, the voice of Batman, obviously Mark Hamill.
Oh yeah.
Mark Hamill, I love just because of his range.
Oh
I
yeah.
think it's really cool.
Very impressive. His Joker to the
Um,
day still haunts me.
yeah. Um, but also, I really like Alan Tudyk too. Alan Tudyk does a ton of different voices. Um, I don't know if you're familiar with Alan Tudyk or not.
Possibly, but I'm not very good with names.
Alan Tudyk played the pilot in uh, uh, the series. Uh, oh, come on, it's my ringtone. Uh, Take my love, take it down. They can't take the star. What the fuck? It's about space pirates. It's a TV series.
I don't know. I don't even know if I've even had that.
Oh, you know it. Anyway,
Okay.
Alan Tudyk's great.
All right.
Any other stuff that I would love to work on?
Yeah, that was actually one of my questions coming up. So yeah, any game series that you'd be interested in looking
Firefly, thank you guys. Firefly, Alan
Ah.
Tudyk's in Firefly.
into? Right. Oh, of
Do you know?
course. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
he
of
does a
course.
ton of voices. He does like, if you look him up on IMDb, he does like a bunch of the, Justice League voices, and yeah, he's great. And I actually got to meet him a couple times.
Mhm.
When I used to work at a veterinarian's office in Studio City, he would bring his dogs in and chat me up. It's pretty awesome.
Fanboying.
They're space pirates, basically. Yeah, Cat. They're basically space pirates. They go around and run shipments.
Okay, so we'll cut that segment short because we don't have infinite time, unfortunately. So, want to go into your kind of general history now. So, moving away from the Dynasty Warriors specific stuff. So, what would you say was your big break when you think that you made it? Let's say.
When I got my first hater from Dynasty Warriors 9.
Really? That's when you.
I mean, it's just great to, work on something that people are seeing and people are passionate about. And I think Dynasty Warriors is probably the biggest title in that respect that I've worked on so far.
Mhm.
So, when you get haters, you've made it, right?
Right.
And they weren't even haters. They were just people that were, trolling,
Mhm. Yeah.
Really quick, DHV, top five voice actors, actresses. I named a couple of voice actors, but also just like regular actors. Sam Rockwell, Dustin Hoffman, Mark Ruffalo. Anyway.
Yeah. Great list. Okay. So yeah, you've done a lot of as you mentioned there, not just voice acting because there is also other acting. So yeah, how did you get into specifically voice acting?
Well, ever since I was in acting school, I've had every acting teacher I ever had always commented on voice, just my voice as a tool.
Mhm.
And I did a play. I was the lead in this play for like 3 years called Delusion. That's an interactive horror play that happens in LA. It was created by this guy named John Braver, who's a Hollywood stuntman who worked on like all the Avengers and Iron Man. And so it's like this, you go into this like building and you're a part of this story, but there's like, Hollywood wire work and stuff, but it's like a choose your own adventure horror play. And one of the actresses in that was actually starting a voiceover studio. And I had been, putting it out into the universe that I wanted to do more. I'd done some commercial stuff. And she posted on Facebook one time, like, looking for voice talent. And I went and auditioned and got a little tiny role. And that blossomed into all of the work that I've done over the last 2 years. There's a lot of stuff to think about, guys. I'm thinking. Try not to say It's a bad thing to say during interview formats, and I appreciate your constant reminder of my shitty interview skills.
It's Twitch chat, man. They're gonna do this.
Really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. So yeah. So I lucked out, but it was also that thing of if you put it out into the universe, it'll happen.
By the end of this, you'll never say it again.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that was how I got into VO. And then once I got in with that studio, one thing I've always wanted to do is anytime I get in with a production, I want to be their number one guy.
Mm.
I want to be the guy that works the hardest, that shows up, that's never late, that is always available to come in last second to record. Um, and that's what I was able to do, and that's kind of, I'm not necessarily, I still got a lot to learn, and a lot to grow. But as far as work ethic, that's where I can, be better than anyone. And that's what I try to do. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's clearly taken you places, because this was a pretty big role that we now know you specifically from, and you said you have that meeting coming up with another large game producer, so that's going to be
Yeah.
exciting, I imagine.
Yeah. That's yeah, they've done everything.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I think we asked you the question earlier, but it didn't actually get answered because we kind of got interrupted. So yeah, is there a particular game series you want to be involved with? I believe the answer to this was interrupted by Firefly.
I would love to be in any of the Walking Dead games. I think that would be really cool. I
The
really like the
Telltale
writing
series?
of Walking Dead. I haven't really played many of the games, but just to be involved in the Walking Dead universe, I think would be really amazing. Um, I'd love to be in, obviously, any of the Mass Effect stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ninja Turtles. Anything Ninja Turtles would be amazing.
Favorite turtle?
Donatello.
Right answer. Okay. So this is going to be your chance to kind of plug yourself a little bit then. So what's on the horizon for you? What can we expect from Matt Fowler in the near future?
They'll make you voice in their Minecraft fanfiction. Sorry. So coming out soon, you're going to be able to see me be a demon cat in my first animated role in a blockbuster film. That's a Chinese film that's called The Legend of the Demon Cat. It's a beautiful film, and it's very reminiscent of the Three Kingdoms. It's the same era. It's just beautiful cinematography and some great Chinese actors that are in it. And I do a really creepy demon cat in it. So that's going to be really cool. Look out for that.
Nice.
My audio drama Space Ward is available on iTunes for free. I've got 11 episodes out right now. 4 of the other actors that are in that are also Dynasty Warriors actors, the good ones. And it's called Space Ward. And it's like a cross between Mass Effect and In Treatment, and it's an audio drama, so it's a whole world through your ears. It's something that I write and produce as well, so check that out. And then I've got a film coming out called Year of the Dog. That's going to be, we're in production for that right now, where I play I don't want to give a lot away, but it's a neo-noir thriller shot on location in Chinatown in LA during the Chinese New Year, which was amazing to be filming there. So that's going to be coming out soon. Yeah, you guys can check me out on Twitter and Instagram at Matt M. Fowler. And like I said, I'm going to be releasing, little BTS clips from the recording of Dynasty Warriors and rock and roll.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, you're killing me, DHV. You're killing me.
So the last...
Listen to Space Ward, and then you be the judge if they're good actors. How about that?
It's true. So
www.thespaceward.com.
Speaking of the Space Ward,
so
sort of leading into that, you mentioned the word a few times there. What I noticed, a large theme in your IMDb, in your role history, is noir. I noticed you're involved in a lot of noir, mystery, kind of darker aspects. Would you say then this is your kind of preferred genre to be involved with?
Yeah. I mean, I like doing comedy and commercials and stuff, and they pay really well. But when it comes to me, when I write stuff or produce it, I tend to go down the darker path, and I love noir, neo noir. If you guys haven't seen it yet, there's a really good series on Netflix called Altered Carbon. That's super neo noir. It's sci-fi. It's brilliant. And the guy who played the new RoboCop is the lead in it, and he's really good. But just the cinematography and stuff is great on it. Did you have a chance when you're talking about noir stuff? Did you happen to see Noir Wars?
I did. I did.
Yeah, that was something that we made just for start to finish in 72 hours,
Wow.
and I had to teach myself how to make the lightsaber and stuff in After Effects. So
Oh man, crazy. So yeah, leading on to then neo-noir stuff. Talk to us more in detail about the Space War, because I've listened to a few episodes. I'm definitely a fan of this. It's really nice. So yeah, everyone, you should definitely check it out. It is really good, and the other voice actors in it are indeed really good. So tell everyone the general synopsis, the general idea of Space War. Get them hooked.
sure. So 1 second.
He's gonna read the blurb on the site.
I'm gonna
now.
read it. Yeah, I have a really good one. The Space Ward. So, fuck it. I'm not gonna read it. All right. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Space Ward is an epic neo-noir audio about the survivors of a massive space attack
That's my
in
fault, guys.
therapy, like a cross between Mass Effect and In Treatment. So basically, it's about this galactic marine who, basically there was this giant attack that basically killed everything, all the species that are known in the galaxy at once. This one alien species basically wiped out everybody, and there's just a small armada at the edge of space that is still around, and they're dealing with the trauma of loss. They're also trying to figure out a way to strike back. But it's kind of like a small perspective. It's like being a fly on the wall in this huge world. I think you guys will really like it if you're into sci-fi.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't help but agree with that. So how did you, because obviously you write and produce this, so how did you come up with this idea?
How are they called Reapers? No, they're not Reapers. They're called the Alphatar. Well, so there's a lot of takes from Mass Effect. Then I also read this one author called, his name's Joshua Dalzell, and he writes these books that are on Kindle called the Black Fleet Trilogy, as well as he has another series called Omega Force. And I love his books, and he writes about space battles in a way that I've never heard anybody write about them before, as far as the physics behind it. And he actually, I tweeted him when I came out with the series, and he actually has listened to it and gave a really great review to his followers, which I was totally nerding out about. But then I asked him, like, how do you write the physics so well? And he said that he was actually an aeronautical engineer at one point, and offered to give me his like breakdown chart of how he does the physics for his space books. So eventually I'm going to be able to input those in there. So it was a combination of those two things. And then I listened to this other audio drama called Bright Sessions, which is basically a therapy for like superheroes. And a bunch of actors that I know at a studio here are in that, and that won Best on iTunes 2016. And so it was a kind of a merging of all these things. But I think what really helped me write the script was, going back to stakes again. When I finally figured out the stakes of the story, as far as what happened and why are we telling this story, I think that was really what helped me to write the script. DHV, top 3 books, I would have to say The Stakes.
Sphero, I was thinking of that as well. As soon as you said steak, I was like, there's basically a parody thing of that Mass Effect 3 scene where Liara goes to Shepard's room, and it's just like she says, "Shepard, how do you do it? How do you keep going when there's so much going on?" And he's like, "Steak, Liara," because he's supposed to say there's so much at stake, so they just cut it down. So it's like steak. When there's so much steak, God, I fucking love steak.
It's just all about the steak. The top 3 books, I would have to say Cujo, and then Drawing of the Three from the Dark Tower series, and then anything by Joshua Dalzell. You guys should definitely check his stuff out. They're really, really good. If
you like sci-fi stuff and physics of space battles, it doesn't really get into the space battle stuff until the second and third books, but the Three Body Problem is a really good one that you should check out. That book is insanely good. Three Body Problem. It's a Chinese book, so it's like really philosophical and in depth, and it's hard to keep up with a lot of it, but it's so good, it blows your mind.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's all the organized questions that I actually had for this one. So yeah, because I think we've gone just about the right time. So yeah, if there's anything that you want to say to the guys in chat or anything that you want to ask to anyone, then yeah, feel free to do so now.
Nah, just thanks, guys. You know, it's been great getting to interact with all of you. You know, as always, you know, you guys rock. So it's always a pleasure to hang out with this group.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thanks for being here, because this was an amazing opportunity and an amazing experience. So thanks for hanging out with us as well. It's great to see someone involved with the game get involved with the community. So it's always great to have that. There's not often that you find this much passion coming out of things, or at least not as publicly, perhaps. Maybe there is.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm not, I'm not Lex Lang yet. So, you know, I'm really trying to, you know, and I feel like I'm kind of from a newer generation of voice actors. You know, a lot of the voice actors that are out there now have been, you know, doing it for, 10 or 12 years. So, you know, I'm just trying to, just interact. And like I said, I'm a nerd, so it's fun. You know, it's cool to be. It's something that I never thought I'd be doing. So, yeah.
Yeah, great. All right, well, thanks for your time today. Then I'll let you get off and get back to the rest of your day. So, yeah, thanks for your time, and I'll catch you later.
Benevolence, motherfucker.
All right, I'm out.
All right, see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, so that was Matt Fowler. That was a really good discussion. I really enjoyed that. That was quite a lot of fun. Hope you guys did as well. Thank you for those bits, Sphera. That was really generous of you. Thank you for the bits. That reminds me that I do actually need to change my sounds now, because I have, courtesy of actually Matt Fowler, some voice lines to append, which I have not done yet, so I do need to get around to that. I think though that is the best place for our stream to end tonight. So thank you everyone for hanging around and for having a good time. Hope you enjoyed the talk show session and segment. I'm gonna see if we can do this again. I'm gonna see if I can get in contact with some other people, and who knows, in future maybe we'll be doing this again. So yeah, what did you guys think of the layout I had? What did you think about the layout I had? Was it easy to see, or could I have done it better? I just want to get some input here while I have that. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. Maybe the text isn't very visible. Maybe I can change that next time. Make picture a bit bigger. Okay, we'll do. Alright, well, thank you guys. Thanks for hanging out once again. Have a great weekend. I do not know if I will stream tomorrow. There's a possibility. I'd say it's unlikely though. So if I'm feeling, really like I miss you guys, which I probably will, then I may be here. But you can expect me on Monday, 5:30 GMT, and I'll be back to entertain you with some more Sunjan. So have a great weekend, guys. Have a great night, or a great rest of your day. And as usual, bye for now.